So, I really wanted to shoot this video because of something that I'm seeing come back from you all in comments on YouTube and in all of our socials. So here's the deal. There's these 3 kittens. If you've watched this channel at all for the last 6 months, you've seen your fair share of them. That is Brucey, his twin sister Joni, and their adopted brother Bramble. And the 3 of them have been everywhere in here. Whether they are nibbling on my earrings, walking behind me, pulling my mic cord, jumping around and playing, pulling toys out of my back pocket. They've been a lot, you know, and they've been with my wife and I as fosters for most of their lives, so almost 6 months. And the great news was that last week they all got placed. And when I announced it, the response was all over the place. I mean, some of you guys were, that's amazing. I'm so glad they have a wonderful life ahead of them. And a lot of you guys were like, whoa, wait, those were your cats. You were supposed to keep them. How could you not keep them, Jackson? And I didn't even know they were foster kittens. And you know, a lot of like all over the place responses. So I thought, you know what? Now's as good a time as any to talk about fostering and my journey, my specific journey as a foster parent. So here's the thing. I came up through the animal welfare system starting in a shelter, and I spent my first 10 years of working with animals working at an animal shelter. We needed as many foster parents as we could get, but I remember thinking to myself the same thing I've heard you guys say, I couldn't. I'd keep them all. And that was definitely me. And the very first time I tried to foster, we call it foster failing. And maybe you've heard that term before. Foster failing is I took in a foster cat and I couldn't bear to part with him. But I'd like to say right now, I would love to see that go away, because the idea of that being a failure, in a way, by volunteering to be a foster parent, I am facing the prospect of failing. I couldn't say goodbye to the boy. That was Benny, and he became my world. In fact, I wrote a whole book about him, which you should read sometime. Benny was the light of my life and also the biggest pain in the butt, but you know, I loved him for both of those reasons. I could not say goodbye to him. And so I didn't. And I will say that it made fostering hard for me, because there was always that thing that hung over the top of me. Like, I don't think I can do it. I'm like you guys. I love them too much. I can't let go of them. I can't. The one other time I can think of that I said, okay, I'm fostering, was early on in my marriage. And my wife, Minoo, has been a foster parent for probably 20 years now. And she's done some high volume fostering. So Minoo was a pro by the time we got together. I remember saying to her, I can't do it. No, I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail. And she would always say some variation of, listen, we're gonna live in this house together, then you're going to be a foster parent. I will teach you everything you need to know about embracing it and letting go. So Minoo really had to teach me what was the beautiful thing about fostering. Not the beautiful thing about keeping anybody that you fell in love with, but the end result. As my friend Hannah Shaw, the kitten lady, would say, goodbye is the goal. Bearing that in mind has been really useful for me. One of the things that I think is useful is to remember that it's a job, that it's, you know, it's not just I'm taking care of you, that I am helping socialize. I'm helping you get through certain challenges, whether they be behavioral or physical. Sometimes it's really under-socialized cats that we have fostered, and all my job is to go into the room they're in and to try to get them to play, or just to come closer to me, or to know that touch is a good thing. And sometimes these things take weeks. And that's one of the things that Minoo taught me from the get-go. Was not how many animals she had fostered. It was not just the numbers involved, and however many times she would tell me about how great it was to do what she was doing, to take animals off the street or who had been neglected or abused, and see them through to this wonderful end. Oh, okay. But that didn't click in the way that this clicked. I always knew when one of her adopters had touched base, whether that was sending pictures or Christmas cards or any of those things. But there was this moment where we'd be sitting around, doesn't matter how hard our day was, doesn't matter how tired we were, but she'd be sitting there looking at her phone, and all of a sudden this massive smile would come across her face. Unmistakable to me. That was one of her adopters sending a picture and an update. That's when it hit me. Unadulterated joy that I saw. I wanted some of that. One of the cats that comes to mind right now is Penny. And Penny came to us. Minoo had adopted her out many years ago, and the family could no longer keep her. And she was 11 years old when she got to us. And she had a serious digestive issue because, you know, placing a 11-year-old cat is one thing. You know, placing an 11-year-old cat who was pooping all over the place, something completely different. When we finally adopted Penny out, man, I'm telling you, I'll never forget it. It was New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve when 2020 was turning into 2021. And I remember dropping her off, and it was near the beach, and I dropped her off, and then I went and I just took a selfie of myself, you know, at sunset, because it felt so good. And you see the smile? I get it. I have come out the other end of the fear of fostering, and I'm gonna fail, and I'm not gonna be a good foster parent. And I don't even get it. I don't get why it's such a great thing. It's not just because I did something, you know, I succeeded, I didn't fail. That's not it. It's because I'm experiencing what Minoo experienced. I am growing families. I am creating loving relationships. I am a part of this beautiful flow where for the rest of these animals' lives, they will know what it is to be loved, appreciated, cherished. Kids grow up with these guys as best friends. I can't even tell you how amazing that feels. Like, I'm not trying to sell you on fostering. Well, I am, but that's a whole other point. The point being, I can't even express to you the joy. But that brings me to my other point. Why am I trying to get you to do it? Because I am. Not only do I want you to experience the same joy that I experienced, and I want to answer all those questions that have come through on social about how could you do it, and I could never do it, and wait a minute, Jackson, you're all indignant because you thought that Bramble was my boy. The reason why you should also is because your community desperately needs your help. I don't care where you live right now. There are probably more kittens, cats, dogs that need to get into a foster home right now than you can imagine. The pandemic really put a fine point on how much we needed foster parents. In fact, there was a video that I put out probably April of that year, May of that year, of 2020 saying, hey folks, please, we need you. We need you to take some of these animals away from shelters who have to close, who can't stay open to the public. We need foster parents. And people just turned out. And so there's all types of people who have learned how amazing it is to foster. But we still need you. You know, depending on where you are, kitten season is all year long. Whether you want to do neonatal kittens and bottle feed, whether you just want to work with cats who need socialization, behavioral challenges, older cats, seniors really need to get out of shelters too. Then you can experience this whole joy that I'm talking about. Listen, if you don't believe me, check out some of the social accounts of some of my friends, like the aforementioned kitten lady, Hannah Shaw, constant parade of fosters. My foster kittens, I'll put links below, but she always shows you how amazing it is to get to that end zone dance there, you know? Or Beth Stern. You guys know Beth Stern, Howard Stern's wife and an amazing foster parent. Check out her socials. You'll see just how beautiful it is to embrace what Hannah said. Goodbye is the goal. It's not just a saying, man. It's a way of life, you know? Not to just jump on the old slogan of the Peace Corps, but fostering, at times, the toughest job you'll ever love. But I am telling you, you'll love it. Take it from me. See the smile? Light, love, and mojo to you. Go foster.